Hello and welcome to my video. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about how I lost 55 pounds in only 8 months. And before I get into everything that I did, I want you guys to know that this is going to be really overwhelming when I tell you everything that I did. So if you want to take some of the things that I did, I recommend only taking 1 or 2 things. That's it. And work on that until you are consistent with it before adding anything else. Because it can be really disheartening when you are trying to lose weight and you can't be consistent with it. And then, you fail and then you get down on yourself, and we don't want any of that. So I want you to only pick 1 or 2 things and get good at that. Even if it's the easiest things on the list, and celebrate your success when you do it, when you get consistent at it. It'll be easier if you go slowly. And what I want you to do, first of all, if you are someone who is looking to lose weight, is to write down your reason why, or all of the reasons why. This is going to be your motivator, because when you are focused on the reason why you are doing it, you are more likely to stick with it than if you don't have a reason. Like if you just want to be skinny or whatever, that's usually not a good enough reason for your mind to stick with it. So I'll tell you why I did it. So back in 2016, I ended a long-term, really toxic relationship. And I was at my heaviest I had ever been in my life. I was at like 200 pounds. It was 200 or 202, and I never weighed that much. I had definitely gone up and down in weight over the course of my life, and I had lost weight when I was 18. I went from I was 185 when I was 15, and then I went down to 132 when I was 18. So it was a very slow progression, and I definitely did it the unhealthy way the first time. So the second time I did it way more healthy. This is back in 2016. So first things first. So getting rid of toxicity out of your life makes it a lot easier to stick to your goals. Like it's not something I thought of back then, but it was the toxic environment. Because if your cortisol levels are constantly being spiked, this causes you to crave the sugars and the fats so much more when your cortisol levels are being constantly spiked. So this will help set you up for success if you do have any toxic situations in your life or toxic friends that tear you down. Like, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life, but it is much easier to stick to your goals without that toxicity and to focus on everyone who loves and supports you. So that is the number one way really to set yourself up for success. But so all the things that I did to lose 55 pounds in 8 months. So I stopped eating when I was 80% full. I used to always eat until I was full. I don't like the feeling of being completely full. I feel sluggish. I don't know about you, but this is how I felt. And feel on the random occasions where I do it now, which is not very often, but I do, it happens. And definitely forgive yourself for times where you do that. I think it's really important not to be so hard on yourself, because when you're putting more stress on yourself, you're less likely to stick to your goals as well. And I cut out pop completely. I went cold turkey. I was drinking, I think, like 2 bottles of pop, 2 bottles of Pepsi a day. And so really we're not supposed to get more than like 25 grams of sugar in a day. And there's like 52 grams of sugar in 1 can of pop. So I was eating a complete excess of sugar like every day. It was, I don't even want to think about it. It was probably a couple 100 grams of sugar I was eating every day, which is like a lot when you think about it. And so I cut out that. Like, I still had my coffee with my sugar in it. I didn't really drink other things like juices or anything. So it was the pop. So I cut that out completely. I swapped out a lot of foods. So I used to have a muffin from Tim Hortons every morning, and that's like 400 and something calories right there. And I don't know about you, but I am always really hungry like an hour later after I have a muffin. Like, muffins don't really do anything for me. So I swapped that out for 2 whole grain English muffins. I'm a little bit of a weirdo, and so I would have honey on one, and then I would have sugar-free blueberry jam with fresh blueberries on top for the other one, and that was around 400 calories as well. But as you like can probably picture, it is quite a bit more food for the same amount of calories. So I was fuller longer, plus I was getting more vitamins. And this is one thing we don't really think about, is the vitamins help your body processes. And when you're getting more vitamins, it can actually help your metabolism. And so that, I loved that for a while. That's not what I eat for breakfast anymore, but that's what I was doing then. So I cut out microwave dinners. So I was actually having a Healthy Choice steamer. That was my dinners, like every day. Again, not that much food, really high in sodium. And, you know, I can't tell you the last time I had a microwave dinner. I don't do that anymore. I love fresh whole foods. This makes a huge difference. Like, just because something says it's healthy doesn't mean it is. It is much healthier for you to prepare your own pasta with veggies and sauce, and because you're getting all the freshness and the lower amounts of sodium. So I was having family-sized chocolate bars every day, pretty much. So I cut those out, and so I cut out chocolate. I cut out fried foods. I didn't drink very often. That was the only time I would ever have pop, if I would have a rum and coke. That's what I used to do, but only when I went out with my friends, and like I said, it wasn't very often. I stopped eating desserts for a while. I do occasionally have them. I don't anymore. And stop eating 3 hours before bed. So your metabolism does slow down a little bit when you go to sleep. Not like a lot. So if you're ever like really hungry before bed, you know, you're gonna get better sleep if you're not like starving. So I usually, if I'm ever in this place, I'll have like a few nuts or something to hold me over. It also, your digestive system pulls blood from other parts of your body if it has to digest when you're going to sleep. So I've had some health issues with this. So I don't recommend eating right before bed. It's way better for your body to give yourself a few hours before you go to sleep. Drank mostly water, other than my morning coffee. I also cut out chips. So it was pretty much all the junk food. But this is how I want you to think about it if you do decide to do any of these, is that if you eat a bag of chips that's like 900 calories, that's a lot of calories. It's usually between 500 to 900, depends on what type you go to. But there's like this many chips in there, and it really does not fill you up. And if you go for like nuts, that was my go-to snack for a while. Right now I wasn't doing this when I lost the weight, but this is what I do now. So like for my morning snack when I'm at work, I have sliced cucumber with hummus and a hard-boiled egg. And that holds me over till lunchtime. I don't need that when I have my days off. I just I'm not running around as much, so I burn less calories. And I think it's really important to listen to your body when you are eating, because you don't want to starve yourself. This is like really important. I do eat, so I eat about 5 small meals a day, and like when I say a meal, that cucumber with a hard-boiled egg, it's really not that much food. And then I have an apple with peanut butter as my pre-workout snack, and that's one, and that's also not that much food. But if you are, this is one thing that I did when I was 200 pounds. So if you are eating, say, 3 big meals a day, you are expanding your stomach out that far. So that's what your stomach is used to. If you took the same amount of food and split it up during the day, so you had a few hours in between it, number one, your stomach wouldn't be expanding as much, so your stomach would naturally like shrink down. And then you're also giving your body time to digest the food it did eat before you take in more food. And this helps your metabolism as well. It's actually really crazy. You know, I just watched a video the other day where this girl was talking about calories in, calories out. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's what matters, is calories in, calories out. But not all calories are created equal. And it also, there's so many other factors. So if you're somebody who wants to cut calories massively, it's not always a good idea. You know, if you are someone who's tried it and has noticed that you're not getting anywhere, if you cut too many calories, like your body needs calories for basic processes like digestion and breathing and your heart beating and your brain functioning. If you cut back your calories too much, your body will actually sometimes go into survival mode and slow down your metabolism and start storing fat. So I had this conversation with somebody that I know. Their friend had just went on a keto diet and she wasn't losing any weight, and she didn't know enough for me to answer my questions. But it really depends. Like, first of all, you have to stick with something for like at least a few weeks before you notice any difference at all. And then it also depends on a lot of factors. So not all calories are created equal, and you definitely don't want to starve yourself. I did that when I was 18. It was less sustainable. It's easier if you can do it in a healthy way. And yes, I did it in 8 months. And also I had hit a plateau. And this is, I think, what's really important. So my lunch, I was having these potato wedges, which was about 200 calories for my lunch. And I was hungry. And when I actually swapped my lunch out for coconut milk yogurt with a banana, fresh berries, and let's be honest, heaping tablespoon of cashew butter, it was about 600 calories. So I had upped my calorie intake by 400, and I actually dropped another 10 pounds once I did that, because I was getting more nutrition out of it. I was getting more vitamins, and I was actually eating an adequate amount of food. And I know this can be really disheartening and, you know, sound really complicated, but this is why I say just choose one or two things and focus on your reason why, because that's what will get you to stick to it. If you like going to the gym, absolutely keep going to the gym. Me, I decided to work on my nutrition first and then start implementing back in workouts after, because your body is 80% what you eat and 20% movement. So 80% of what you eat determines how your physical body looks, and the other 20% is physical fitness. So the physical fitness is for to keep your heart healthy, to tone your body, strengthen your body, build muscle. This is what the workouts are for, and definitely you want to do them. You can take a break if you need to. And, you know, I love doing 20 minutes of Pilates every day, and then I do strength training a few times a week with weights, and I love that. But I wasn't doing that all during when I had dropped the weight in the first place. And I think it's important to know that walking is really important. And if you want to live a longer, healthier life, everybody that I've talked to that is like in their 80s and up, who is upright, walking, healthy, they all do some sort of physical fitness still, like every day or almost every day. Like walking is a big one. I was in the elevator with a 90-something-year-old woman bringing her daughter groceries, and she said that her trick is that she walks every day, and I really appreciate that because, you know, it gives me tips to sustain a longer life. And, you know, I wish that for you too. So I don't want you to be too hard on yourself. Loving yourself now for who you are now is super important. So if you do decide to take any of the things that I did to get to your body goals, I want you to also go take a look in the mirror and pick out all the things that you love about yourself right now, because this will help you stick to your goals as well. Like, I don't care if it's just your eye color or your lips or your teeth. Maybe, you know, you had braces when you were younger, but now your teeth are completely straight. That's great. Mine aren't. And that's okay. And, you know, I want you to focus on what you love about your body now. And, you know, I would love for you to pick out 5 things that you love about your body right now, or your personality as well. Your personality is super important. I'd rather you do both. I'd rather you do a mix of both. And if you can't think of anything right now, I just want you to pick one. And then I want you to focus on that one thing that you love about yourself, and your list will get bigger. You'll see. I want you to do this for yourself. And I want you to live your best and healthiest life. And I will love to see you in the next video. Sending you love and light.